Now we review Furiosa! A Mad Max Saga. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Random Street Theater. I am Richard Neal, and I don't know if you can hear, but in the background there is some business going on, but it is at least regular business and should be filtered out by my computer, so I'm not worried. And I have just seen Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Before I go any further, let me remind you that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from 4Ocean. 4Ocean then pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as to comment, like, and subscribe, you'd be doing your part for a better world. Now, Furiosa. I did not see Mad Max Fury Road. So, I am not familiar with the character of Furiosa. I know that she teams up with Max in the movie. I believe in that movie she had the cybernetic arm. And this is the story that sets up how Furiosa became Furiosa. It starts as she is a young girl living in a wonderful shrouded oasis. Some bad guys show up. She gets kidnapped and lots of bad things happen to her. And, you know, this is how she became this unbreakable spirit that defines the role of the badass female. She does have to earn it, and you know that's where this story is, and it doesn't star the original Furiosa, obviously, because has to be a younger actress, and I think they're hoping to keep a franchise going without. I can never pronounce her name properly, Miss Sharon there. Because that actress is a lot more expensive. This actress, being a little less well known, will probably be a lot cheaper. And they spent the extra money to get yourself a Hemsworth, the best of the Hemsworth, in fact. And, you know, there you have it. And probably where this movie shines the most is that its visuals are spectacular, although a few of them do look a little fake. And in fact, what this film looks like is somebody took the stylings of a graphic novel and made it into a film. The use of darkness so that you just have to draw an outline instead of drawing the full character, monochromatic or bichromatic scenes. Like there's one scene where there's blue, but there are lights that are yellow, and everything else is the dark blue that is used as the black. There are scenes that are just red filter, and you know, so on and so forth, which very much depict this. This is what you would do in a graphic novel, because it's easier on the system. It's easier for a artist to paint. You know, it's just, this is how this was done back in the day. And that's what I see primarily here. Okay, if you look at the acting, the first girl who plays Furiosa, the youngest Furiosa, she is solid enough. Not a lot of emoting for this character, but that's kind of who she is. The next girl, you know, she has to do a lot of acting with her eyes and acting with her body language, and she does that very well. And that was definitely well done. Now, Chris Hemsworth, I don't know if I like the fact that they made him a villain who looks like Jewish Jesus. And just to be clear, the real Jesus probably had that nose, but would have been a lot darker. Okay, just the first thing that changes with a people is their skin tone when they move to a new area. And, you know, when the Jews left Israel and were scattered into Europe, they became lighter toned. And when they were scattered into Africa, yes, there are Jews in Africa, they became darker toned. And that's one of those things. But that that forward nose, it kind of helps to keep the wind out of the nostrils, in my opinion. And it is common. I mean, Amy Winehouse had one. So it's common amongst the Hebrew. And, you know, so they gave Hemsworth this really Semitic-looking nose and made him an evil dude with a beard. Don't know if I care for that, but I guess they couldn't use his real face for some reason. But, you know, he hams it up in this. He's not... Like, his character is... I don't know. When you see him acting as Thor, he makes a perfect Thor because he's got that accent and he is this big, sort of lumbering, very stoic character as Thor. And, you know, this thee and thou, very stuck-up sort of thing. And when he loses that, his character doesn't seem as strong. And, I mean, this is a character, he does play a character that has demons, okay? And he feels the world has taken from him. And that is a great way to start a character, but we don't really see enough of his character to understand it. It's kind of a one-dimensional character until that reveal is made clear. And then the rest, I mean, he's just not given enough to do. He's not given varying scenes. He doesn't have the depth of character because it's just, there's a lot of him wanting. And, you know, it's like, yes, he's ruthless, which is what you expect from your bad guy. But everybody in this is ruthless. And I mean, in fact, yes, this is a world where the ruthless survive. But it does bring up a lot of questions, like why do people follow him if he's so dang ruthless? How does he get the protein to stay that swole? How is he working out? What's going on here? Where are these people getting the resources to have these massive biker gangs that tool across this vast wasteland? You know, it's like, yes, I understand motorcycles are very fuel efficient and they can go quite a distance. But even then, you know, you would have an army walking their bikes for most of the distance. And then, because this fuel is so precious, at least in the earlier Mad Max films, I mean, in Mad Max, society was still hanging on, and people were still there was still a society that existed. In fact, it doesn't exactly say in the original Mad Max what happened or how it was even bad. The world looked reasonably normal. Mad Max played a cop. In The Road Warrior, society seems to have fallen completely, and the movies seem almost entirely unrelated, except for the look of the main character. I don't even remember them calling him Max in that movie. Okay, and then Beyond Thunderdome is a solid enough sequel to The Road Warrior, but, you know, there are still questions. Okay, then I didn't see Fury Road, so I don't know, but then in this world, there is the technology to create that cybernetic arm that Furiosa has. I don't understand how that works. But, I mean, she didn't need any time to adjust to the cybernetic arm, so it would have to use a full neurological link to the brain. Because the cybernetics arm we have today work off muscle tension. And it's like, you know, if you want to close your fist, you flex your pec, or you flex your bicep, I mean, and that closes it. And maybe it's your tricep, and then that opens it, and you just have that. Or there are ones where the whole arm is intact, it's just the hand, and then it's like you flex the wrist, and it closes, and you flex the wrist, and it opens. So it's I mean, I've seen these things. That looks like it's a direct neural interface, because within hours or maybe days of her adding it, it's just her. It's not something she's having trouble using. So there's that as well. And yes, this is a film with a lot of incredible set pieces, and it's a very large film with lots and lots of scope and imagery, but it is still a comic book come to life. And I don't know if that's a good thing. It depends on you if that's a good thing. I would assume that if I had seen Fury Road, I would know these characters better, and I would understand them better, and I would like them better. But I do also have to point out here that this movie is kind of dumb. I mean, it's like, yes, sanity is gone, and this stuff is just designed to look incredible. You know, it's like nobody's trying to make an efficient war buggy. They're trying to make a war buggy that intimidates the enemy. And it's like there's a scene in there where a character close to Furiosa dies, and in a very, very horrible manner, although they kind of gloss over how horrible it is. But you have to ask yourself, in a world where fertile females are hard to find, why would you kill a fertile female? I mean, maybe it's in there and I didn't notice it, that she was wounded somehow and unable to bear children after that. But if this is a woman related to Furiosa and also a woman who has had a child in good order, why? You know, it's just they're a limited resource. I hate to be cold about it, but they're a limited resource and there's something to be preserved. And also, a point to be understood about this is that the freaks really should have been a lot more freaky in this movie. And again, not to be cold, but it's like, look, we live in a society where we take care of, at least we try to, the disabled, right? That is the society we live in. But that was not always the case. There is an old urban legend that happens to be true about a person named Jonny No Face, okay? And what happened is that as a young boy, Jonny No Face was playing with an electrical line and got blasted. And he lived, but it destroyed both of his eyes and his nose, I believe, and left him horribly disfigured. And he would make a living weaving belts. It was something he could do. You know, in this society of Mad Max, if you can't pull your own weight, they're going to kill you. They may even kill and eat you because they need the protein, or at least use your body to fertilize their crops. So this is just one of those things that one has to point out, is that, look, everybody is pulling their own weight in this society. Old people are going to be working until they die. Young people are going to be working as soon as they are able. And, you know, if there was somebody who was born with cleft feet and couldn't walk, they got to have something to do, okay? Or they're going to kill that baby because they don't have the resources to feed them. And that's just one of those things about this movie, is you don't see that. So there is a lack of depth. Now, look, I think most people are enjoying this film, and it is a popcorn movie. My gripes are kind of silly, so I will grant you that. But, you know, what you need to do with this particular film is turn your head off and eat popcorn and enjoy it. And I think you can do that. So it belongs in the middle of your watch list, all right? If you're a fan of the franchise, you can tick that up to maybe the upper 40% of your watch list, but not much higher. I was actually not really impressed by this film. But that's just my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours. The comments below. I'm Richard.
Randall the Rat here, reminding you to comment, like, and subscribe. And why should you do that? Well, look over here. These are bracelets from 4Ocean. Each one of them means a pound of trash was pulled out of the ocean. And this channel buys one for every 1,000 subscribers it gets. And this around my neck? Well, this is a medal from the Conqueror. It represents walking around the Great Pyramids of Giza. You can get one for yourself by going to the Conqueror challenges.com and saying, hey, I want to pretend I walked around the pyramids of Giza without dealing with all the sweat and flies and delicious scarab beetles. Or you could support this channel so they can buy more of these, which means that they will plant trees, because each one of these represents 5 trees that got planted. Yeah, that's right, 5 trees, helping your environment. Global warming sucks. Be a good person, comment, like, and subscribe. Give us more money so that we can plant trees by buying medals from the Conqueror. Randall out.